of the session. If any participants wants to ask a question, please click on the raise hand button, click on the lower hand button to withdraw your request. Participants can also type their questions into the chat box. In case we are unable to answer all the questions during the session, we will answer them over email. In recent years, technological advancements have made a significant contribution towards the evolution of the construction industry. The adoption of artificial intelligence, especially, has significantly influenced our approach towards planning, design, and data collection. Information generated by artificial intelligence systems, such as BIM, empowers design and construction teams to capture and analyze data, allowing for efficiency, flexibility, reliability, and opens up creative avenues for improvement. This session will give us an insight into how these systems are helping us build smart cities and buildings. Our thematic speaker today is Sri Kunal Kumar, IAS Joint Secretary and Mission Director of the Smart Cities Mission. However, he will be joining us shortly. He is joined today by Dr. Amarnath Badrinath, Head of BIM Strategy, L&T Construction, and founder and president of the India BIM Association, and Dr. Teresa Kerber, Head of Program ICT Adaptation to Climate Change in Cities and International Smart Cities Network at GIZ. I would now invite Dr. Badrinath to make his address on BIM for progressing buildings and cities.
Shubham, thank you so much. And I would also need a access for sharing the screen. Okay, thank you. Dear audience, thank you for joining for today's session. It was a wonderful morning session. And it's very much important as we all see about the green and sustainable buildings and also the cities. And frankly speaking, this BIM for progressing buildings and cities is a very which can help all of us in better data management for design, construction, and operation of the buildings or infrastructures or cities as a whole. And it has a long way to go for getting into these procedures for activating the better data management. And I'm happy for being here to give you a brief idea on how this BIM can help in progressing the buildings and cities, especially for the current trends of digital transformation, what is happening in the market. And I also like to thank the GRIHA Council for giving me this invite for sharing my knowledge with your team and also learn from you on these lines. So looking back about the BIM, for me, if you ask me what is BIM, it's all about a data management by the stakeholders involved in the projects. It may be the design team, contractor team, subcontractors, or a operations, or a client or consultants, any of these people, including the green building agencies. So they manage the data which is getting set from the day one of the project till the handover and then the maintenance. So it's a data management by the people involved in the projects. So that is nothing but BIM. And how do you manage the data? You have the visual way of managing the data. So that if there is any particular facility, you have any particular equipment or any material, you can click on that in the model and then you can look into the parameters and all the information. So this has got in a lot of benefits for the participants involved in the projects. And looking into the traditional approach of CAD-based, people have realized that when you have a common platform and you are able to visualize and all the parameters about that particular facility is in one model, it makes a lot of sense for all the participants involved in the stakeholders involved in the projects to get the right data on what they need for or for the people to add the data or use the data. So in simple terms, it's a data management. And how this BIM has evolved now. In these days, we are seeing most of the client agencies and also the design companies and also the contractors, everyone are looking in BIM for activating their companies and looking for digital transformation. And how did this first of all come into picture? If you look into this, there's one of the research I've done in 2016 to understand what is the kind of trends in BIM in the global market. So whichever the countries you see the marks, these are the countries where the BIM research has evolved. And different countries have a different level of R&D happening on these areas. Some of the countries like North American, Nordic countries, they're all focusing on developing some new technologies which can support for modeling of the projects, analysis or coordination, time planning, cost planning, and so on. And some of the countries like UK and Scotland and few other European-based countries, they're looking for policy developments and standardizing the BIM implementation. Some of the countries in Gulf region, they're mainly focusing on implementing BIM for their existing projects and then realize the return on investment on that. And also for the old projects, they can make the scan to BIM digital model can be developed and they use it for maintenance stage. And some of the countries like us, we are more into providing BIM services for the global market for their projects, like developing the model, documentation, drawings, and coordination, setting up the CDE, and developing the as-built model. This kind of services we are providing for the global market. And trust me, India is also called as a BIM factory for the global market because most of the Indian startups which has evolved from past 2 decades are delivering these BIM services for the global market clients. Number one, it's cheap labor. Number second, we are aligned with what has been given and to do that. So we are working on that kind of things. And there are some countries which focus on education, implementation, linking with green buildings. In fact, if you look into the BIM and green building certifications, for example, if you take LEED, they are already aligned with how you do the assessments for the BIM projects. So if you want to get some set of credits for your projects for rating system, and you can do that automated process of checking if how much credits I can get and so on. So that level of alignments are also. And it's a strong belief that BIM can do a lot in collaboration with GRIHA and also with IGBC for the Indian market to help them in doing better green building certifications and also helping them with this process of aligning the data. Because nowadays the green building consultants would face a lot of difficulties and challenges. When you want to capture the data on the site or you want to get back some data and how much aligned is with your credit points. But all this can be very well said with the BIM integration. And this is the kind of research happening. And the research on BIM has started from past 2.5 decades. And it's evolving in a very big way these days. And it has become a key requirement because people are able to realize the benefits of that. So looking into the kind of benefits that has brought, the government agencies in these countries, wherever you see the black spots, have already bought into some level of mandates for their projects for procuring and also for e-tendering. So the clients realize that when you bring BIM as a mandate for their projects, number one, they can do better time and cost planning and tracking. And also they can looking into better visualization. They have a clarity on what is going to be built. And also after building the facility, you have a digital model of your project, which is just a replica of your physical asset. So looking into several benefits that BIM can bring in. So these clients have started mandating BIM. And nevertheless, India is also working on this. I can see that day in, day out, there are several client agencies getting activated, looking into BIM as part of their projects. And for example, some of them are like Airport Authority. And few days ago, I had a meeting with military engineering officers, directors, and Builders Association, CREDAI, IGBC, TERI, also metro projects. And most of the mega scale projects these days are coming up with the BIM as a pre-requirement. It's all about data management, as I said. So I would say for all our AECO sector professionals, architecture, engineering, construction, operation, to understand this BIM, how it can help for your division, even for the green building consultants. So this has a lot to do for your benefits and also for a client as a whole, and for each of the organization which is participating in these projects. So looking into when we say the mandates or the research, at the end, what is required is better education for our academic students. When they graduate, they should be able to BIM ready graduates, and they will be able to come and support us in the projects, right? And looking into the way how this education or skill development support is happening in the global market, this is another survey which I have done in 2017. If you can see, these are some of the countries where there is a kind of BIM education mandate in their tier 1, tier 2 university curriculums, and which keeps you day to day changing and revising for the upgradations. So there are some countries where there is a government supporting this kind of education, and there are some countries, universities itself take up that initiatives and bring that as a kind of part of their curriculum. And it's not just as a subject; it will be part of different subjects. BIM will be part of it. It's not just one subject introduced as a BIM or as an elective. So trends are moving up, and there are plenty of BIM ready graduates available now in the youngsters in the market. So you will be able to get support from these kind of people locally and globally. And to support this kind of digital transformation, because now it's all about digitalization, and we realize that even for our ACO sector, there is a need for supporting on this digital transformation journey. And being this reason, in 2016, May 2016, we have formed this national society to bring that awareness, organize some events, and also bring into the BIM certifications, audits, and also support and building the project management consultants in the Indian market. So this is one of the NGO what has been set up. This is an office which is in Bangalore that has been set up. And in fact, we have currently spread the voice to the 40,000 plus professionals in the market. And it's really interesting because the most important thing the youngsters need is a directioning, and we are able to help them on these lines and able to connect the different service providers and clients on these lines and also supporting quality assurance. And looking into the BIM, we also see about the project management for Industry 4.0. These days, we hear about Industry 4.0 as a prerequisite for delivering the projects. So, how do you deal with the project management for that Industry 4.0 requirements? So, which you look in. One, we call it as a IPD. It's called Integrated Project Delivery. We call it as a people management. With IPD procurement method, you can manage the people involved in the projects for better data management. BIM, which is Building Information Modeling, which is not a tool, it's overall framework. So it's about data management, about the data that's get produced during the projects. Lean, which is nothing but the workflow management. When you bring these three items together, then it's going to serve the project management for Industry 4. So one more thing, most important thing we see is when I say BIM, it's a data management. How do we manage this data? So because when you say a particular project, you have a teams located in different regions and maybe different countries also. So in that case, how do you manage the data? Even if you say for green building certifications, the consultants and auditors may be located somewhere and they need some data to look in if they're able to be verified for those number of credits. How will they able to capture the data without even visiting the site? So for that kind of, we have a common data environment. It's nothing but a common platform, which is a cloud-based solution, and you have the software as a service in there. And you can develop the model, you can do the analysis, you can feed the data, site data back to the model, and model data can be accessed by other teams, and also client can get to know what is the kind of progress and what are the changes happening, and also about the cash flow and the procurement, logistics, safety planning. Most of these can be activated. So for that, we say BIM for data management, and different parties involved over the life cycle can coordinate with this. The second topic, which I say about IPD, which is for people management, there are key 8 items which are taken into consideration. And nowadays, when there is a BIM project as a requirement from the client side, they're also putting in IPD as a mandate for the procurement method rather than the traditional procurement methods. This is one way it's going to help the people to collaborate. It will facilitate better collaboration, and it will also set up a contract mechanism that enables open collaborations. And it will also help you to have a better data management, and everyone are able to access what data they particularly need. And you can also fix the restrictions, what data can be accessed by whom. And it will also involve all the parties who are involved in the project from the day one to the end to be part of this process. And it creates a culture of trust and sharing among the parties. Because when we say particular project, which is a temporary endeavor, you have a people coming from different organizations, and it's very much important to have that kind of create culture and trust of sharing data with parties. Then only the project can become successful. And when we say lean for the process management, so this is lean principles is nothing new for all of us. We are all having that in our particular projects, but BIM with lean and IPD can do a lot of difference for the project for having a better project delivery. Coming back to the BIM, just for giving a brief introduction about BIM. So if you see here, the first image, so there is a triangle. There are three kind of items. One is a graphical representation. It's about your model, how detailed it is. And the second one is non-graphical. It's nothing but the parameters what you have. And the third is a documentation, what documents you attach. If there is some equipment getting installed and there is a testing done, you have the documents attached to the model. So all the data with respect to the project is within the model. You can click on the particular element, you can see the parameters, and also you can see the attached documents. That data among these three items keeps on growing from stage zero, like stage one, when you start planning the project, then the conceptual, then the definition, then the technical design, then the construction, then the handover, and then maintenance. So the data keeps on maturing because different parties are involved in building in the data into the project and for using the data. And that's where we call about the BIM model maturing, and the level of detail or level of information needed in the model keeps building. In the graphical image here, if you can see in the stage one, you have just a site data, and then you have a conceptual model information, and you start building further detailed model from different disciplines, architecture, civil, infra, and so on. And then comes in a design where you have a detail from all the discipline coming together. You have then the final design with the BIM model coordinated, and then you come into the construction phase. You're using this model for fabrication, assembling, safety, quality control, logistic planning, green building assessments, kind of thing. And during handover, you hand over all this data in the model, saying that this is a virtual asset of your physical asset, so that this virtual asset can be used for linking with the smart facility management systems, which can help you for better data management and also for better operations. And most of the returns on investments can be realized during operation and maintenance and during the building and commissioning phase. To BIM, because currently we all hear about BIM delivered in several projects, and several organizations are able to deliver BIM in the projects. But what is the level of BIM getting delivered? How can we assess the capability of an organization or the level of BIM implemented in a particular project? This is a which is saying about the maturity levels. Level 0, no BIM. Level 1, you have a BIM for design management and the regular standards available, local standards within the organization, and not so better collaboration happening. Level 2 is where you have BIM used for design and conceptual activities, and you're having national standards available for the projects, and you have a common data platform, and people are able to coordinate between design and construction phases. Level 3 is like you have BIM used for design, construction, and operations. You are following the ISO BIM standards, and also you are going with better collaboration between all the parties in the projects. So coming back to our company where I work currently, I'm from L&T Construction. I'm heading the BIM strategy here. It's mainly to support the company in terms of digital transformation journey. So looking into some of the projects, what we currently have here getting done with BIM. So plans, we are doing it with BIM for modeling, planning, and then coordination, client visualizations. A lot of efforts have been put in from our team members to they are not client mandated. We realize our benefits of implementing BIM, and we are doing it for our sake. And for whichever projects the clients are asking, we are also doing for it. This is for combined utility for smart infrastructure projects. They're developing the BIM models and understanding the coordination issues and resolving them before you go onto the site. And this is for metro, sports, and harbors, because some of the metro projects now are already with BIM requirement, like Bangalore Metro, Chennai Metro, so on. And high-speed train project which has come up is with a BIM as a prerequisite. So there's a lot of heating, ventilation, air conditioning jobs, and also other things where the client want to visualize and walk through. A lot of these things we are doing. Some of the places we are doing the scan to BIM model and then using it for digital asset. And clients are able to be satisfied with the kind of walkthroughs they're having. They're able to visualize what's going to come up in the projects. And also we are able to set up the common data platform between the design and the construction team so that they can synchronize. The site changes can be updated back to the model and the design team can work on it, and design team, any revisions, they can update back to the model. And everyone can be kept aligned on the recent changes in the data. This is for nuclear and special bridges projects which we are using BIM. And we have different types of projects which is happening within L&T as an infra company. And most of the type of projects we are started implementing BIM to some level. and which is helping us for better visualization, modeling, coordination between the parties for engineering and construction, and also for class detections and avoid the reworks and time planning, cost planning, ERP integrations, this kind of activities. And this is for power transmissions and distribution. When you come to this PT and D job roles, there's a lot of efforts required because most of the projects are coming from the Gulf region and they are putting BIM as a mandate, and the client themselves are doing the quality control for the projects and using the augmented reality for the site activities and tracking and so on. So a lot of work is done in developing these models and using it for tracking and monitoring the projects. And this is for geostructure related projects, where again, this is a set of professionals working from a geostructure division within the company. They are working on developing these complicated structures and able to use it for better returns. This is for railway projects. If you can see, they're also using it for linear projects. If you see on the right side, there is a 3D point cloud data where you use the laser scanners and capture the actual site data and then use it for further project benefits. And this is for metallurgical and material handling projects. In this kind of projects, you need this BIM and data management in very detail because fabrication has to be done to the level required. And if fabrication data is not properly aligned, then assembling will become too complicated. And also for procurement will help in a big way. And also time planning and control is helping us in a big way in these slides. Coming to the smart cities, because today's topic is on smart cities, how this BIM can help for the smart cities. The main objective of BIM is to build smart cities that are well integrated in terms of transportation, communication, development, and infrastructure, technology, and services at every level, be it household or at a macro city level. So when we say we need a smart city, you need a smart infrastructures and smart buildings and people to manage that. So that's how you finally have the smart cities. And we also have a division called Smart Word Communications, which is working on that. I can give you those slides in coming slides. So BIM for smart cities, if you say, we speak about Internet of Things, cloud computing, big data, geographical information integration, facilitating the planning, construction management, and smart city services of the cities. Our Smart Word Communications division also works on setting up the data centers for managing the data of the different cities, and which is happening in a big way. And they're also bringing in the BIM for the integration for their Smart Word Communication projects. BIM for smart cities will support in managing the physical assets, especially, which is buildings and creating the smart city infrastructure, which will enable better design. And one missing thing is not much of mandates from the client side for having the BIM for smart cities yet. But looking into the global market, most of the projects, the cities have been cloned into the BIM model, and they're using it for data management. Some of the tech vendors like Unreal Engine, these people are working on some of these smart city initiatives, and there's a lot of requirements and demand getting created for BIM for smart cities in these days. Looking into that, previous week we had one event from a European team from the, it's a geospatial medium, which is about GeoBIM maturity model. When we say about city level, it's all about GeoBIM. We are bringing GIS and BIM together. So this is maturity model that was getting developed, and we are involved in validating it. So if you see, similar to the BIM, you have different levels, 0, 1, 2, and 3. Level 0 and 1, if you see, it's like here also, if you see surveying and then plan and design, then construction and maintenance. So initial level 0 and 1 is like you use traditional theodolite and chain, total stations and drawings and sketches, CAD CAM softwares for the design. And if it is for construction, you're using traditional machinery, paper, construction drawings, and so on. For facility management with spreadsheets. When you go for level 2, within the smart city management, you are speaking about scanning tools for surveying, remote sensing, RTK, EML for underground infrastructures. And you're speaking about CAD or BIM to some level, GIS and 3D point clouds for planning and design. You're speaking about BIM, GIS kind of thing for construction, and then BIM and GIS for operations. When we go for level 3, currently some of the smart cities which we're working is at level 2, which is using to some level BIM, but not to the data and also the GIS. Level 3 is where the optimized level and sophisticated one, which has to be worked out. Where for the surveying, you may be using LIDAR, mobile mapping technologies, drones, GPR, acoustic locating, and so on. For planning, you may use the digital twin model of the project, which may be a combination of integrated BIM, GAs, and Internet of Things. And then coming to the construction, you may be looking for additive construction, 3D printing, prefab, modular construction, robotics. When it comes to operation, you will be looking for digital twin model of the facilities, and then big data analytics and so on. This is the way forward for smart city planning with BIM, GIS, and so on. Looking into the kind of projects we have in our L&T, which most of them are at level 2, frankly speaking. Some of the projects which L&T is currently working on smart city like NDMC, Jaipur, Pragyaraj, Raipur, Vizag, Hyderabad, Tamil Nadu, Panaji, Mumbai, Nagpur, Pune, this kind of things. Where our main work is to set up the data centers where you have a 6,000 plus, for example, if you take Mumbai, which is the largest safe city, 6,000 surveillance cameras, command control centers, video management analytics, vehicle tracking systems, services we are building it for. If you come to Chakapana, for example, control centers, smart holes, and variable solid waste management. Some of these, to understand which we currently use for our projects, data centers, for smart grid communication. Garbage overflow detections can be done. You can do fire and smoke detections, animals on road, water logging detections, building collapse detections, tree falling detections. These kind of things we are able to activate through the artificial intelligence for smart management. And these are some other things like vandalism detections, graffiti, chain snatching, and person climbing. These kind of things can be looked at. And these are some other examples: recognitions, fire detections, crowd estimation. And this is
Sir, in the interest of time, I would request you to please expedite your address.
So this was one of the command center which was set up for the COVID-19. And this is 2019 for Pragyaraj Smart City, which is
Thank you, sir, for your insightful address. I would now invite Dr. Kerber to make her address on digital solutions with algorithms contributing to Bhubaneswar as a smart city.
Thank you very much. Could I have the rights to share the presentation, please? Thank you. Is it possible for you to see the presentation?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay. Thank you very much. First of all, many thanks to the GRIHA Council and to Mr. Sanjay Seth for the kind invitation. We are the Global City-Based Adaptation to Climate Change in Cities, and this is a project implemented by GIZ on behalf of the Federal Ministry of the Environment, Nature Conservation and Nuclear Safety as part of the International Climate Initiative and in cooperation with the Federal Ministry of Interior, Building and Community. We are working in 3 countries, in India, Mexico and Peru, and my colleague Vaishali Nandan is leading the Indian team and also the Climate Smart Cities project in India. Today, I would like to share our experiences in supporting the city of Bhubaneswar in fighting urban flooding with algorithms and digital solutions, including algorithms. The German Advisory Council on Global Change published a report by the end of 2019 called Our Common Digital Future. And they find out that without digitalization, the SDGs are not achievable. And in order to put the digital transformation at the service of the transformation towards sustainability, the potential and risks of digital technologies and solutions must be understood and aligned to the SDGs worldwide. There is also a very interesting special report from the IPCC, the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, called Global Warming of 1.5 degrees. And there is also a summary for urban policymakers. They speak about transformational adaptation to climate change. In order to better adapt to climate change, we need to take the citizens with us in our policies and actions, climate actions in our cities. But if we ask who wants change, everybody wants change. If we want who wants to change, the story is very difficult, very different. Digital done right, digital transformation done right means taking the principles of digital development into consideration. For example, design with and for the user, design for scale, understand the existing digital ecosystem in the city, use open standards, open data, and also open innovation, and be data-driven. These digital principles were created a few years ago and are based on the experiences of the international cooperation in the topic of digitalization. For our global project, we adapted the digital principles into strategic principles, for example, fostering citizen participation and open innovation, contribute to existing urban planning processes in the cities, promote local co-creation, facilitate transferability and scaling up, and prioritize open source, among others. The basis of the process in the global project, ACT-based adaptation to climate change, this is also the human-centric or citizen-centered innovation process that we apply for the process for developing a digital solution to fight urban flooding in the city of Bhubaneswar. The first step is the city selection along with the national partners at the national level. Then we signed an MOU with the selected city, defined along with the city officials climate challenge. And then started from this climate challenge, we designed a citizen-centered innovation process using agile methods like design thinking or Scrum in order to get to the needs of the city and the citizens. After that, we developed a code, the digital solution. Then this digital solution is piloted and then launched, and we organize a wrap-up and transfer workshop with a second city in each partner country in order to transfer and prepare a transfer package, open source transfer package. Why are these agile methods so important? If we have a look to all your mobile phones and tablets, we will find lots of digital solutions and apps that have been developed using agile methods like WhatsApp or Facebook or Uber or you name it. And why are these agile methods important? Because of the adoption rate for the digital solution when it is ready. If a digital solution is a very good answer to your challenge and to your problems and to your needs, you will use it. And this is exactly the same for digital solutions for sustainable urban development. Let's go now to the city of Bhubaneswar. Here is some news from TNN from the year 2018. Hour-long heavy rains causes waterlogging in Bhubaneswar. Because of climate change, the rain patterns have changed so much that it's very difficult for the city officials to really predict the rain patterns and to adapt to climate change and adapt better the city in order to avoid urban flooding. What is the solution? Using the available data, geo information data from the city, we built a dashboard and identified critical points in the drainage of the city. The problem after that was that the whole Bhubaneswar Municipal Corporation doesn't have enough staff to map the critical points that are clogged. And for that, they needed the support of volunteers in the city. Students, could also be ward representatives. And the central part is this dashboard with an algorithm in the back that is gathering data from geoinformation systems from the city, but also official statistics from the city, land use, buildings, population, critical infrastructure, but also data about the hydrological structure of the city, distance to the main outlet or the drain construction type. With this information, the digital solution also gathers information from the citizens using the volunteers app, Move City Savior. In Odisha means I am the city savior. And the third part is with the algorithm, the digital solution makes a prioritization of the very, very critical points. For example, a critical point at a clogged drain nearby a hospital. It needs to be cleaned as soon as possible. So the digital solution sends a prioritized list of the critical points to the supervisors of the Bhubaneswar Municipal Corporation, and they make the decision, we still have some stuff that can go to this critical point and clean the drainage in order to avoid urban floodings and worse consequences. And this is a data flow where we can see better how the digital solution City Savior works. On one side, we have the crowd reporting of current status with the students, volunteers, ward representatives. On the other side, we have the geoinformation system with the database. And in the middle is this analysis system with the dashboard and the algorithms. And from the output is then the volunteers, the citizens get rewards when they report clogged drains to the city. And on the other side is this, we can find this prioritization of location for cleaning and maintenance as a suggestion for the BMC supervisors. This is just another graphic representation of the data flows from the digital solution Move City Savior. On one side, we can see the geoinformation drain network with critical points, database vulnerability maps from the city hydrological models. And from the crowdsourcing part, from the volunteers, the data gathered by the volunteers app, status of the drain report, water level, amount of water, and also the water flux, all with the gamification concept in order to increase the adoption rate. Now, very fast, some screenshots from the different parts of the digital solution. This is the use application, the volunteers app, where I can, like a game, play a game with my buddies and follow different missions and gather points. And I can gather these points reporting clogged drains to the BMC and to the Bhubaneswar Smart City Limited. And behind this use application, there is a gamification concept with points and rewards in order to increase the adoption rate for the people and take all the citizens with you in the digital solution. This is a screenshot from the dashboard. And this is a screenshot, are some screenshots from the supervisor application. The supervisor gets an information priority level 7, so we can still wait, or priority level 1, there is a clogged drain and it has to be cleaned as soon as possible because nearby there is a hospital, for example. And regarding sustainability and anchoring in the national policy, the digital solution Move City Savior is the winner of the category Best Climate Smart City Project of the Smart Cities Empowering India Awards 2019 within the framework of the Smart City missions of the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. It was a great, great honor for us and for all the team. There is also the Bhubaneswar Municipal Corporation and the Bhubaneswar Smart City Limited also have made technical and budgetary provisions for the next year in order to upscale this digital solution into the whole city of Bhubaneswar. And this digital solution has also been included in the Bhubaneswar.me portal with all other digital solutions that the city of Bhubaneswar offers to its citizens. And it was very important for us to include the citizens of Bhubaneswar in this process because Indian cities are very, very diverse. And most of the data gathered or the data sets available on the market at the moment have a very strong bias. They are more data from, let's say, white men. And what about Indian women? This is why it was important for us and for the city of Bhubaneswar to gather our own data with citizens from Bhubaneswar. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am, for your address. We now have a small Q&A session. I would invite each of you with questions to virtually raise your hands. When you are unmuted, please introduce yourself, identify the panelist you want to ask the question to, and phrase your question as concisely as possible. ये तो listen to ये common क्यों हो जाएगा? हाँ, common है.
Hi, hello.
Go ahead, please.
Yeah, this is Vikas Chand Sharma. I'm from DLF, and my question is to Dr. Amarnath. This is regarding BIM. Actually, you also know that in real estate, when we design, it goes through the conceptual and schematic and design phase. So sometimes we don't have a final design, and we don't have that much of clarity in earlier stage. So how we can utilize BIM in that, and how can we make it affordable with respect to affordable housing? You know that we have a vision that we for housing for all. So how we can implement BIM in affordable housing? Shall I repeat my question?
Dr. Amarnath, would you like to give the reply to the query? Amar? Dr. Amar, are you there? Dr. Amarnath?
I fear Dr. Amarnath may not be with us, so we can move on to the next question. We will try connecting with him as soon as possible.
Hello. Hello.
Go ahead, please.
Hi, Akash. Sorry, I'm here. Amarnath is here.
Yeah,
Sorry.
were you able to catch the question which Mr. Vikas Sharma asked you, or do you want him to repeat the question?
It would be helpful if you can repeat, sir, please.
Vikas, can you please repeat the question?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, my question to Dr. Amarnath is that since you know that in India we have conceptual stage, schematic, and detailed design stage. So
Yes.
how can we implement BIM in early stages? And
Hmm.
second, my question is, as you know that we have affordable housing and all projects line up. So how can we implement BIM in those affordable housing, keeping in cost in mind?
Okay, okay. Ma'am, the number one, if you say for early stages of the project, it's nothing but collecting the site data and then planning the projects and developing the conceptual model, developing the detailed models, these kind of things. During this process, once you have the model, you can also do the analysis, time cost plannings, and so on. So for that, the most important thing is clients should put in their BIM requirements in their RFPs, whatever BIM they want in the projects, maybe with consultant coordinations or so on. They say, I want BIM for so and so activities. I need you to do the asking the service provider saying that you need to do the time planning, cost planning. And then if you say for low cost housing, even they can look into the materials and then do the possible analysis, like what kind of locally available materials or what kind of green materials and so on. One good thing, if you say about smart buildings and all, like prefabricated, once you start aligning this process of construction with the fabrication and assembling, more of industrialization, the costing will obviously go down, and that's what most of the countries are currently working on. And cost planning will give a lot of value for this project, because when you know what kind of local available materials and how you can have a industry based manufacturing plant units nearby, and then you can assemble them as a big units on the site, there's a lot of time that can be saved and a lot of manpower can be saved, and obviously it will result in cost saving in the project. And looking into the kind of material part, like how to know which are the green building materials and to what level is this can add me for the green building certifications. And even this kind of things can be clearly evaluated through the building process. So for example, if I say for any particular facility or a building, there are different components, starts with the doors, windows, and columns, steel sections, all this kind of thing. Each of these can be developed as a BIM object libraries. And many of these object libraries are already available in the market. And with that, they can also add in the rating system, saying that for this, by involving these materials into the project, I can get this many number of credits. This kind of process, alignment, green building assessments, all these things can be done, but it needs some integration part to be done at a local Indian level to happen this. Some of the companies like Katera, they are now using the BIM models with level of detail of 350 for fabrication. So that data can be fed into the CNC machines and it can help you for better fabrications and also for heating, ventilation, air condition related items. It can be very well supporting you in the proper fabrication and assembling, and also you can bring it for site for um, better procurement can be done, construction logistic planning can be done, safety planning, quality control, audits. All these things can be very much aligned with BIM. But the foremost important thing is client asking for the BIM in their RFP, and then asking the service provider to develop the high strategy plan aligning to your RFP, and then asking them to develop the project execution plan, which we call in BIM terms as a BIM execution plan. Developing that, aligning to your requirements, and then asking them to go ahead with that implementation. I think that should be the first steps, madam, to get into implementations.
Uh, I would request Miss Shilpa to go ahead and ask her question.
Hi, Mr. Dr. Amarnath. I'm Shilpa. I'm doing my research in life cycle analysis of living walls in Germany. And since your talk was fascinating, and I have a question for you. So, what would be the role of life cycle analysis in BIM? How much LCA can be integrated in BIM technology? And that is one question. I would like to extend this to another, which is how far India has reached in implementing LCA in integrated with BIM technology in its projects. Yes, that is my question.
Okay, thank you, Shilpa. The first one is life cycle assessments. Frankly speaking, there are several green building analysis tools available from tech vendors like Autodesk, Bentley, Trimble, Dassault, Acker, And there are roughly 15 to 20 software vendors providing these solutions. But again, to the what level it has been used depends on the what level the client is asking it for. Because the most of the time what happens is only few companies understand that it's important and they directly implement it without even client asking for it. And if most of the times, if client is not asking, many service providers will think, why should I bring that into integration? Until and unless it's a client requirement. So that's one of the challenging point looking into the Indian market. But the Indian service providers providing the services to the global sector, most of the global clients are asking for these life cycle assessments to be done, and it can be integrated to the full level required for BIM and life cycle assessments. And the Indian companies itself are providing these services for the global market. In that, it's not that we don't have a capable team in India. It's that the client requirements are not coming in on those lines. So, from my understanding, the client awareness is very much important to understand what is that BIM and what is the returns that they can get when they have a virtual asset of a digital when they have a virtual asset of their physical facility, and how they can use it for operations. And looking into the kind of benefits, operation phase, you have very good benefits, because the highest benefits that you can get from BIM implementation in a proper way is in the operations and maintenance phase, because you're going to manage the facility for another 10 to 20 years, at least 20 to 30 years. Then you cannot go back the 10 years, 5 years data from some other operation team and ask them, can I get this data? But all this data can be managed on the digital asset model on the timely basis. That's one thing. Construction phase, you have a lot of benefits for the contractors and subcontractors, because you have this data of the BIM model, design model. You can do the time planning, cost planning, tracking, monitoring, and also other XYZ benefits that can be obtained. But again, not all the contractors or the construction companies realize that to that level. So it's taking time. When it comes to the maturity, BIM maturity currently is more for a design, and it has opened up its gateways for the construction activities now. For operations, it will take some time, because until they get the digital model of the facility during the handover, they cannot go for smart facility management. Did I answer your question?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Dr. Amarnath.
Welcome.
Thank you, everyone. That's all the time we have for Q&A. I would now request Mr. Akash Deep to give a vote of thanks to our esteemed panelists.
Hello, everyone. We have indeed had a thought-provoking session with the esteemed speakers we had on board with us. I take this opportunity to thank all our speakers. I extend my thanks to Dr. Amarnath, Head of BIM Strategy at L&T Construction and Founder and President of India BIM Association. Also, Dr. Teresa, Head of the Program ICT-Based Adaptation to Climate Change in Cities and International Smart Cities Network at GIZ, for their knowledgeable presentations. With this, we move on to the next part of the session. Please stay tuned. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Unfortunately, Mr. Kunal Kumar could not be with us today because of a personal medical emergency, and he's sent his regrets. Now it's time for us to unveil REACT, which stands for Resource Efficient and Affordable Choice of Technologies. You can access it through the link in your chat box. This is an interactive activity where participants can compete against each other to optimize the resource demand for a virtual apartment. Now, I'll share a few points. The intent of the activity is to optimize the energy and water demand of an apartment within a stipulated budget. Each participant will start with the same 2 BHK layout. The apartment is fitted with conventional energy and water fixtures. Options of different star-rated fixtures are provided against each conventional fixture category. The performance and cost of each fixture is mentioned in the options. A budget is also mentioned on the top of the screen. Billing details are also mentioned, which will change depending on the cost of options selected by the participant. It is mandatory to select options for all fixtures. Energy and water consumption data would be calculated by the app based on the energy consumption value and flow rates mentioned against each fixture option. The participant who achieves the maximum reduction in energy and water consumption within the stipulated budget would be the winner of this activity. The time allotted for the activity is 40 minutes. All the entries submitted after the stipulated time shall be considered ineligible for evaluation. Please ensure that you enter the correct email ID and submit your responses in time. There are 3 awards: Amazon vouchers for rupees 2,000, 1,500, and 1,000 respectively. The winner will be announced during the valedictory session tomorrow. While you play, our screen will show a demonstration of the activity. However, this is not the most efficient combination and you should not attempt to emulate it. The trick here is to balance upfront cost with returns in the longer term. Your time starts now. If you have any questions while playing the game, feel free to use our chat option to put forward your queries. Your attention, please. While sharing your queries on the chat, please mark them to everyone so that the other participants can also see it. You have 10 minutes remaining. Please ensure you click the submit button to finalize your choices once you are done for your effort to be counted. please remember to click submit once you've completed your combinations. Hello, everyone. Your time is now up. Some of you have inquired about the point of this game. We are aware that the most efficient alternatives often are the most expensive. The point is to create a combination which is both sustainable and affordable, which is kind of what we do here at GRIHA. Thank you all for your participation. The winners will be announced tomorrow during our valedictory session from 10:30 a.m. onwards. You may connect with us through social media by following our FB, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Instagram. Please use hashtag GRIHA for all, for the numeral for all, and hashtag 12GS while posting. We will now take a 10-minute break and we are going to return with a session on mindfulness, which is going to help us unwind after a long day of technical sessions. I hope to see you there.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Prathama Dolas, and I am your host for this session. A warm welcome to one and all on behalf of GRIHA Council. We welcome you all to the enriching session on mindfulness. Before we begin, I would like to take you through some instructions for the smooth flow of this session. Audio and video feature is disabled for all the panelists, for all the participants. There'll be a Q&A session at the end. To ask your query, you may use the raise hand feature or type your questions in the chat box. Click on the lower hand button to withdraw the request. The event is being live streamed on YouTube. If you have any trouble connecting to this call, you can view our session there. Sometimes the most productive thing you can do is to sit back and relax. After a day full of technical sessions, we are here with a relaxing session for you all. Today, the stress levels are soaring, and as a working professional, you may find that you're constantly juggling innumerable responsibilities, may that be the work, parents, friends, home, or whatever, often with too little time to do any of them justice. Add in the technology which allows you to be on call even during the leisure times via cell phones, emails, and it is no wonder the stress levels are higher than ever before. This session will help you understand the value or the need of mindfulness as a tool. The session will enable you to take back the experience to help mindfulness be part of your daily routine. Now, I would like to introduce you to our esteemed speaker for this session, Major Deepshika Gupta. She is currently a senior counselor from One to One Health, which is a pioneer and a leading employee assistance program in India. In addition to her counseling work, she has conducted talks and workshops on work-life balance, what makes good mental health, communicating with children, guilt in parenting, and many more. She has also conducted workshops on benefits of expressive therapies for children. We are honored to have you here with us, ma'am. May I request you to please take this session ahead?
Thank you. Thank you so much, Pratma, and very, very warm welcome to everyone. I hope I am audible and you can see me as well. I will start sharing my deck soon because I want to introduce you. For many of us, we do know what mindfulness is. We have heard about it. Maybe some of you may have practiced it in some form, in some yoga session, or in some kind of classes where you have undergone some form of meditation again, some guided meditation tricks. So all that, I'm going to tell you what mindfulness is in short. I'm going to also break a few myths that we have about mindfulness here. A very light session, of course, as Pratma said. I do understand you've had a very long day with a lot of technical, I think, sessions before this. So I promise you it's going to be very light. I'm going to also give you tools because the whole concept of having this session today is so that you understand what it is all about and you can practice it for yourself as you go ahead in your day-to-day life, right? So let me start sharing here, and I will encourage all of you to please actively participate. When I will come to a deep breathing exercise, please feel free to do that at the comfort of your home itself, because that will give you the way how we are supposed to practice it and a little glimpse into, if you are more interested, to kind of then build up on it on your everyday life, right? So let me start then by sharing my deck here. All right. Right, great. So I hope this is visible to all. And yes, let's go ahead there and let me introduce this wonderful, wonderful topic that is in today's date not only acknowledged by doctors themselves, but also by people in the sports field, also by teachers, by people in various other domains and fields as well. Okay. So as I said, it's a very light session. It's not going to be a heavy session. I'm going to make sure that your learning from today's session is going to be high, though it is going to be a light session. All right. So just basically, if I have to kind of ask you, what is mindfulness about, or why do we need mindfulness? We are all constantly on the go, right? More so in today's times, in this very unprecedented year, of course, things have been so challenging, situations have been so challenging, and we ourselves are stretched in our physical, emotional, and maybe when mental resources as well. And how do you then keep replenishing it so that going ahead, you have your resources for being your balanced, or as we say, a fully functioning individual, right? And that's where mindfulness is so important, because this helps you create wherever, whichever part, whatever role you're doing it, to be the best functioning, to be doing it mindfully, so that the results out of it come to the best of our needs, best of what we want from ourselves, right? So, very simple, very layman's terms, mindfulness, I'm going to take you to this definition because we all have our own thoughts. Somebody says doing things to the perfect, somebody says being more aware, which of course it is a part, but what exactly is mindfulness, right? So going ahead, I'm going to tell you of what mindfulness is. So mindfulness means paying attention in a particular way on purpose. So you pay attention here. It's not just about being concentrated on something, but paying attention on purpose with focus in the present moment. So even as I speak to you, how many of us are actually listening to this present moment, that yes, there is a voice that is coming to you. You are trying to make sense of what I'm speaking, and then you are not diverting your mind to what after this session, what is maybe in my calendar for the rest of the day, what about tomorrow, what is it that, so you don't think of those things. You are completely in this present moment, listening and hearing what I'm telling you, right? So in the present moment, you kind of get your senses completely concentrated here, and in a non-judgmental fashion. So non-judgmentally, you do not judge this. You do not have any opinion about it. You are not biased in your thoughts about it. Okay, more about this coming ahead. So mindfulness, as we all will understand from today, is that you pay attention purposely, you give attention, you focus your attention on the present moment without judging the moment. Okay, very, very simple layman's terms here. All right. And then let's go ahead and then see, why is it so important? Because research says 50%, almost, that's almost half, and 47% here, what's on the slide, of waking hours are spent thinking about what isn't going on. So maybe at this time, while we are having this, your thoughts could be in 10 different directions. Your thoughts could be, as I said, what next? Or maybe you're kind of thinking of something that previously happened in a previous session, maybe your takeaway from that, or maybe something that happened in the morning, or maybe most of the time, for most of us, what we do, we start ruminating about thoughts that do not have to do anything with us. It may be about other people. It may be about different situations. And most of the times, because the mind is such a brilliant tool, it goes and it focuses more on the negatives that could have been better. So maybe you would focus on, I didn't do something in the past, I could have done it better. Or you have an anticipatory stress of the future. What if tomorrow this happens? What about 1 year down the line? I want to do this course. Will I be able to do it? My child is in grade 9 now. After grade 10, what does he or she should think? So we're constantly thinking, we're constantly living either in the past that has already gone away, and no time machine, no sort of money, nothing can change it, nothing can revoke it so that you can be in that moment again. Or we are thinking of the future. Future, again, we cannot control it right now in this present, right? But we end up having anticipatory stress. It's a hypothetical kind of a stress that's coming into our mind. What if? What if that? What if this, right? So a lot of things that we think upon on the past and the present. And that's why sometimes it helps to be mindful for. So you may be driving a car, even in the pre-COVID times, and you may be passing through many signals. But how many of you have actually stopped at a signal even when the traffic light was red and to admire the nature around you? Did you see that there was this wonderful tree, or maybe a gulmohar tree around there? Or maybe if you stay in this beautiful city of Bengaluru, where I am, and you pass through a certain signal near Cubbon Park, you find these beautiful trees that have flowers in the colors of various hues as the seasons change. So there's orange, there's purple. In whichever city you are, have you been that moment in the present, being in the car at that signal to enjoy what's happening around you? Or were your thoughts like you are in a reflex and you're driving, but your thoughts are like, I will reach work, what next? I have a meeting coming and the traffic has really made me late, what next? That is why it brings me to the next slide. And the Dalai Lama himself says this, that there are only 2 days in a year that nothing can be done. One is called yesterday, and the other one is called tomorrow. So today is the only best day to love, believe, do, and to mostly live. And hence you would have seen we generally have so many of those, wonderful quotes that come sometimes to say that it's called present because it is a gift. And that's the reason we say that it is a present to us. You can make the most of this gift by being mindfully in the moment, in the present moment, to make it the most for yourself. Okay, so let's go ahead then. And a few myths that I did promise you I would be sharing here so that we will be more aware of what mindfulness is. So a lot of people think that mindfulness comes from a certain religion or a culture, or they say that because it belongs to a certain sect, we cannot do it because it doesn't belong to us, or we're supposed to chant something, or we're supposed to say a phrase or like a mantra or something. So very, very simply, you are not supposed to do any of this in just being mindful. So though the origins of mindfulness, of course, are from Buddhist practitioners, but it is not to say that it is a form of maybe Buddhism, or it is, only people who want to practice that form or religion or something. No, it is as a very, very simple practice that everybody at whatever place you are, wherever you are, whichever city, whichever religion, whichever kind of ethnicity you come from, you can practice it. Okay, so that let's not carry that myth to say that it's a particular chanting of something, or it's kind of, repeating a few phrases or something. It is none of that. We need to work on it because everything comes with practice. And we do know that the human brain is always in this fluid state. So the moment if someone did that research and, they say, don't think of a monkey, and you would want to think of a monkey, right? Or they say that don't do this, and that's exactly what you want to do. So it will need work to do on because it is new to us. We are all in this learning where we want to learn from it, and hence we need to work on it. So if you can practice it very simply, even if it's just 5 or 10 minutes every day, and continue it over a period of some time, it will start coming naturally to you. And that's what we want to achieve finally. It is not positive thinking. So if someone says it's just a way of self-talk, and so it's not just self-talk, it's not a positive thinking kind of a mode there. It is not relaxation. So not to say relaxation is a part of it. It comes as a side effect, as a benefit of mindfulness. But mindfulness in itself doesn't mean that it is just relaxation or you're just doing that. Okay, how you will practically get to know that as I take you through one small, I will do that guided mindfulness with you today. Okay, so let's go ahead and just this kind of, just stay 1 minute on this and see that this is wonderful book by Sapolsky called Why Zebras Don't Get Ulcers. And just very funnily to say that is because as the human brain is so brilliant, is so fluid, is so amazing, it's also that we tend to overthink a lot. We tend to think on so many situations, people, places, things that need not need to be thought at the moment. Whereas animals, maybe on the other hand, because they are simple beings, because they do not process so much, do not think so much, and hence the title of the book, why zebras don't get ulcers, right? So because they don't overthink, like even if there's a tiger or a lion in front of a zebra or a giraffe or someone, it would just panic at that time because that's the imminent danger. But while it is nicely eating its grass in this meadow and can't see the lion or tiger or something, it will not have that anticipatory stress. What if a tiger came in front of me? What if a lion came in front of me, right? So this cartoon very rightly shows you here that the human form is here, has the whole muddled head, scrambled thoughts, as we say, too many things, this, that. And the little pet who's here is so wonderfully enjoying the moment. The pet is wonderfully saying that, wow, there is nature around me, there are trees, there is the sun, and maybe kind of, actually being in that moment. Whereas the human is with so much thoughts, not being able to even enjoy the peace that the nature is right now giving him, right? Or her. So whether you are mindful or mind the spelling here, mind is full, right? So mindful in that way. Right? So just some part of humor here to let you know on that. And then, of course, what are the benefits of mindfulness? So the benefits in the broadest categories would come into these three different categories. There are physical benefits. I will tell you in detail of what these are. There are interpersonal benefits. And then, of course, there are these psychological benefits. What are these benefits in detail? Let us take a look quickly. So these are in detail some of, sorry, I'm just going to quickly see on the chat if there is something. Okay, there's nothing as of now. So I'm sure that you are all being mindful and actually taking in this session in a very enriching fashion. So let me tell you then, going ahead, as I was saying, what are the benefits, So physically and wonderfully, even the medical industry, the medical professionals, doctors and paramedics and nurses and so many healthcare practitioners have now actually given so much importance to mindfulness to say that, yes, there are few chronic illnesses, chronic diseases, maybe hypertension, maybe cholesterol, diabetes for some, or backaches, long tending aches, that pains in the body that are being treated in a very positive way when the patients are giving more time to mindfulness. Okay, so physically, of course, diabetes, pain management, cardiovascular ailments, okay, a lot of those as well. It improves your sleep as well. And if you think about it, we cannot control what is happening in our body inside right now, right? So there's digestion happening. We all had lunch and the body is still processing that. You had this lovely tea break before the session started for 10 minutes. And whatever you ate, your stomach is kind of digesting that right now. There's a respiratory system that's going. There's an excretory system that's also working hand in hand. And we're not able to control anything. It's all already on auto mode. What we can then wonderfully but control is our breathing, right? We can control, and that's where the mind-body connect comes. So we always say that the mind and the body are connected to each other. If you have a calm mind, you will have a calm body. And what we work on in mindfulness also is, if you calm your body, you are able to calm your mind as well. All right, more on that will come when I will take you through how you can do it for yourself. But yes, the physical part when I was describing this is, hence it also improves sleep. Because if you're able to calm your body before you sleep, and a lot of people are having this kind of anxiety, sleeplessness state at night, they say there is a lot of negative thoughts that kind of keep coming and snowballing, and we are not able to sleep well, or we sleep for 6 hours, but when you wake up, you don't feel rested. It's not restful sleep. You feel very fatigued and tired yourself. So you want to improve the quality of sleep that you have. So mindfulness will also help you with that. Increase dopamine level. Dopamine is a neurotransmitter in the brain that's also called, it's responsible for us feeling happy, right? So it also increases that. It lowers your stress, anxiety and depression. Okay, and so many times every day we have some stressor, maybe a small stressor, maybe a little bigger stressor, but none of us are stress free, right? None of us here can say that, oh, I do not have any stress in life and I'm completely without any stress. So whatever your stressor is, be it a small stressor, everyday kind of an event, be it something that's coming up that you're very stressed about, maybe a project deadline, maybe something new that you're starting that you're not having experience in, maybe some personal life stressor, right? A health issue of a loved one in the family, maybe something to do with your children, right? So sometimes those things that create stress and anxiety for us, we can handle it better if we start practicing mindfulness. Interpersonal relationships, when it comes again at home and at work, of course, we all are always interacting with people around us. How does it help? In the senses, it makes you more aware. See, suppose if somebody was to say that they suffer from anger issues, right? We all have our anger issues. Now, if this person who is having an anger issue is aware of what is your trigger for an anger issue, if you're supposed to meet somebody at work, and meeting this person generally puts you in that state where you kind of get triggered into being angry or into a rage kind of a thing, and that is your trigger. So if you're more mindful that yes, this is a trigger for me, and if you're aware of this trigger, then going ahead, next time when the trigger comes, you will be able to deal with it in a more rational way. So your response will be a rational response rather than an emotional reaction that anger could have given you. Okay, so that's how a small example of how interpersonal relationships can also improve, and of course then communication can also be improved by that. All right, the psychological part of it would be, it helps us increase our focus and intention because you are being present at that time. So you're bringing your senses completely in concentration to what you're doing. And again, because we are working from home or because we are dealing with so many things, a lot of people nowadays say, I'm not able to focus. Like I keep working and then I find my attention shifting so soon. So I'm not able to focus on that, right? Emotion regulation, of course, as well. We keep having this whole the sine wave of some days you are feeling good and then suddenly something may come that makes you feel low, and then so we are always constantly undergoing various emotions. So how do you keep yourself regulated on that? True. Resilience, or what's called a bounce back. What if there's something that comes and you can bounce back, right? So it also helps you understand yourself better and then come back with that bounce back effect for yourself. And finally, it helps you increase your confidence and gives you that fulfillment, right? So a few of the benefits, there are so many more in so many other things, but just for this, for our very special session today, just to make you aware that yes, these are worldwide a few of the very common benefits of mindfulness that people have experienced. All right, so let's go ahead in this. And okay, I'm just quickly going to come on the chat and see if there is something that somebody has wanted to ask or no. Okay, so I'm hoping that yes, you are very mindfully in this, all of you. And yes, again, mindfulness can be an informal or a formal way. So it need not be like, people always end up saying that, oh, I don't have time. I don't have time to do anything. So you have no time. There's just, where is the time to do it, right? We are always so occupied in our personal work, professionally. So there's just no time to do it. And if you ask me to remove time, I don't know how I can practice it. So the formal, I'm going to come to the second part first here, the formal meditation. Formal meditation is okay when you do take time out of your day. So you keep maybe Monday, Wednesday, Friday is my time to practice meditation, and 7 to 8 is when I do it, and then 9 o'clock onwards my day starts. So you have a fixed time slot, and maybe you like to practice it like that, and that's where you do it. You do your breathing exercises, you do your meditation, maybe you do your yoga, pranayam, whatever. Okay, so that's a very formal way that that they are fixed. The informal part, for everybody who says that there's just no time to do it, is the fun part of it, because you can do it even while you are doing your other activities. So it need not be that you have to remove time for it. This could include even brushing your teeth. Now imagine there's no time, but while you're doing something, you can bring in mindfulness. So brushing your teeth, cooking, cleaning also, maybe even while you're kind of eating. Right? Yeah. And I'm going to tell you how you can do that again as well. That even when you're eating, how mindful are you? So maybe if I have to just ask you right now, you have tea break. What did you have for tea? Did you have tea? Did you have coffee? Did you have something like lime juice, or maybe just even water? And if you had something to eat along with it, or even with your tea and coffee, how did it taste to you? Was it the normal tea, or was it something different? Was there ginger added? Was there cardamom? Was it masala tea? Or what was the coffee? Was it filter coffee? Was it a cappuccino? So sometimes even what you eat, what was the thing that you had in lunch, and did you enjoy the lunch, right? So sometimes people are like, I ask them, what did you have for lunch today? And they are able to say, what did you have for lunch yesterday? Few of them take a pause to say that, oh, yesterday. And what about 2 days back? Can you even remember what did you have for lunch 2 days back? And that's where the mindfulness concept comes, that sometimes just we are in this rush to do things, that we just do everything like a chore. Lunch needs to be completed. I just have 10 minutes, so I'm completely eating, and you're not mindful of how is the grain, the rice tasting for me? How is this chapati different from what other chapatis I have had earlier, or even yesterday? Or, is there something else different about this vegetable that I'm eating, right? So this is where the informal type of meditation comes, that you can practice it even on a day-to-day routine with doing things that you normally do without remaining time, especially and exclusively for it. All right. So, okay, let me take you ahead and also tell you now that who all are using it then. So we have schools and little children as young as, I think, kindergarten and Montessori also are now getting the children to practice it for some time. So they kind of sit and they experience that, and then they're supposed to kind of, give out their emotions. How did you feel when you were sitting in the space? How did you feel when you're doing this, right? So workspaces, of course, they are become more aware of the benefits of it and are using it increasingly so. Military, because professions that are very high stress, especially when we have people in areas which are forward areas where you say there's a lot of stress in even the physical terrains that you are in, and then how do you be mindful, right? So that helps them. Mindfulness helps them be there at their best while they're performing the duties in that rugged terrains and difficult situations, right? Sports team, a lot of sports athletes. So you will find a lot of people are now they're coaches, and everybody used to first have only a physical coach with, who helps them build in their stamina. Now they have a mental health coach who brings in these aspects of mindfulness. How are you present there? How do you let that kind of get your game to a level upper than what it already is, right? Healthcare practitioners, as I told you already, a lot of chronic diseases are being cured by it, a lot of long-term pains, aches, illnesses that are also being tackled. And therapists, of course, a lot of things that we in counseling also do. As counselors, is use this as and when required for people. For a lot of anger management issues also is something that we use mindfulness. All right. So to be mindful. So we have seen the benefits. We know the different places it is being used in. We now have an idea of what mindfulness is. But then how do we be mindful, right? So that in the the slide here, you can see three very, very basic and very simple steps. Okay. One is take a pause. Second is to observe and feel. And the third is to focus and accept. And I'm going to I'm going to give you the experience of this. How do you pause? How do you observe and feel? And then how do you focus and accept it? All right. And Kabat-Zinn was the one who's written tremendously, extensively on mindfulness. And he also has this institute in the US on mindfulness, on a center of healing through mindfulness. And as I said, a lot of physical ailments also get treated there. The 7 core attitudes of mindfulness that they say are these 4. It's not to make you overwhelmed on it. Just very quickly and very short, I'm going to run you through them because you need to understand what these are, so that when you start practicing it, you start accepting these 7 and you have that experience being enriched for you. So one is the most important, being non-judgmental. So don't judge that experience, what you're doing. Don't judge it to be right or wrong or correct. Or sometimes we just have a black and white opinion on things and we refuse to see the grays or the different colors that are. So don't judge anything. Have a very unbiased approach to it. Okay. Second is patience. Please be patient. sometimes when you sit into that practice of mindfulness and it doesn't come to you, you start feeling it's not working, or what is wrong, or is something wrong with me? I'm still thinking so much. And so please be patient with yourself there. The third is the beginner's mind, which means enjoy everything sometimes. The first experiences as a small child experiencing new things first. For someone who's not, for a young child of maybe 3 or 4 years, and or maybe even younger, right? And the child has not experienced what it is as rain. Now imagine this child is playing in the playground and suddenly it starts raining. And the child is in, what is this rain? You've experienced for the first time. So that is the beginner's mind. Are you ready to practice it as a beginner's mind? That whatever experience comes with it, let it be. You may have seen so many sunsets, right? Yet, when you see a new sunset now, this is not the same sunset that is repeated in so many times before. What is new about this sunset that is feeling so good to you, right? How is this new sunset appearing different to you in that way? So it's almost like that, to say that a beginner's mind, to develop that. Trust, finally, have trust in yourself that whatever you're doing, you're feeling is for your good, right? Non-striving here and the letting go or the non-attachment are two connected kind of attitudes here. Non-striving is not to sit in something and ask for a result, right? So not to expect anything out of it, right? So not to expect that what will come. What will come will in itself be a new experience for you, okay? And acceptance, to accept that yes, you are doing it, you are in the moment, you are experiencing what you're experiencing. And finally, to have that third person point of view, to allow it to pass from you, to have that third person's view to this is what happened and I let it go. So I'm not attached to it. So practicing also a principle of, as we say, be attached, detached. That is exactly what this means here. All right. So again, I said not to overwhelm you. For those who are more interested, you can go ahead and even read more on that. Very, very interesting. It really helps us sometimes understand so many things for our own selves better. All right. And yes, now we are going to do the breathing exercise that I promised you I will. I'm going to come on the chat once again and see if there is something that someone has asked or someone needs to know, or okay, there's nothing. So I hope you're all ready for this breathing exercise, because this will help you be mindful of your breath. Because we all keep breathing, right? Even as we're speaking, we're constantly, as I said, there are so many systems that are on auto mode working, and we can't control the other systems. But the system that we can control for ourselves is the breathing. And let's then try to control, let's kind of focus it, let's come on it and see how it's going to help us in being more mindful about our breath. All right. So wherever you are, everyone, please sit in a very relaxed pose. If you're sitting on a chair, please make sure that your back is rested to the chair. Make sure that you're sitting in a very comfortable place. Close your eyes if you feel comfortable about it. Be very aware of yourself. Just close your eyes and be aware of your surroundings right now, right? And just take in some sounds that you can see for yourself. While you're in this closed position, sitting in the chair, what are these sounds that you can hear around you? Right? Is there the fan whirring above you? Is there an air conditioner noise that's coming? Is there some faint voice coming from a room next door, or someone in an adjacent room talking, or some sounds coming from outside the window that you can hear? Right? So just take your awareness there and experience that sound. Listen to it from your mind. Be aware of what are these sounds that you can listen. And now, in the same closed eye mode, while you're also being aware of the sounds, I want you to be aware of how are you feeling in the chair, right? The contact point of where your body is touching the fabric or the seat of the chair, or even if you're sitting on the ground, how does it feel to be on the ground? The contact point where your body touches the seat. How is that feeling to you? Just bring that into your awareness. If your back is touching your chair or the wall, just experience how the back feels right now with that support, right? And while we are doing that now, get your attention and focus back to your breath. And when I say, please take a deep inhale, fill in your lungs with all the positive oxygen, all the positivity, very gently. And as you exhale out, let all the negativity inside you come out with that exhalation. So again, inhale, maybe you would like to give in a number to your inhale. So if it's 1, 2, 3, 4, inhale. And in the same gentle fashion, 1, 2, 3, 4, exhale out. Now, what you need to do is, if you want to take your hand, keep your hand on the abdomen and keep inhaling, exhaling. See till now, if you were inhaling and exhaling from your chest, was the oxygen only going to your chest, not to your abdomen? So now when you're inhaling, make sure that your abdomen gets filled in. So you can keep your hand there if you want. So inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, feel your abdomen go up. Exhale out, 1, 2, 3, 4, and see your abdomen go down. Right? So many of us don't even breathe, knowing that we need our abdomen to expand. It's just the chest where we keep it. So keep inhaling and exhaling. Now, one more thing that you need to add on to your inhale is inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold on for again 4 counts. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then exhale out. 1, 2, 3, 4, and hold again for 4 counts. 1, 2, 3, 4, and inhale again very gently. Okay, so for those who are comfortable doing it, inhale inside on a count of 4, hold it for a count of 4, exhale out gently, count of 4 again, and hold again for a count of 4. Okay, so inhale 4 counts again, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold on, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale out, 1, 2, 3, 4. And hold again, 1, 2, 3, 4. Just try doing 2 more of these inhale, exhale at your own time. I'm going to give you 2 minutes for that. Everybody who's doing it, take your own time, be very comfortable, be very aware of your breath, and please do that. Do your deep breathing, do your inhale, exhale, hold on for 1, 2, 3, 4, and see how you feel. All right, if you finish doing that, now bring your awareness with your closed eyes again on your breath. See how does the breath feel on your nostrils. When you're inhaling, does it feel cool? When you're exhaling, does it feel warm? And we've never brought our attention to the area outside our nostrils, right? So bring your awareness there and yes, see exactly, can you experience that feel of your breath? Can you feel that warm and the cool feeling there, right? On that area of the nose. Okay, once you've done that now, give yourself, please be very, very gentle with yourself and open your eyes very gently. And thank you everybody for doing this exercise. For all of you who've been sitting there, how are you feeling right now? Let me know on the chat. I've kept my chat box open. It may take you about a minute to come back to your environment. Give yourself that time. Give yourself that kind of space to kind of come back into this feeling. And then tell me, how did you feel? Did it make you feel calmer? Did it make you feel much more aware of your breath, right? So, okay, I have a response here for somebody who says that yes, it did make them feel calmer. Okay, thank you. Thank you for that. It was a nice experience and you felt more calm. Yes, somebody's saying you felt more calm, right? This is exactly because we never kind of focus on our breath. Even if you do it and did while you were doing this and you said you felt calm, you felt a nice experience, did your head have those muddled things of emails or what is next to be done or some stress at home or something happening or what needs to be cooked for dinner, right? Did you have those kind of thoughts? Generally, the answer would be no. Because very consciously, we forced our brain to think on how we were breathing. We forced our brain to filter out those thoughts from what our brains are always occupied to come to this point where we said we are going to focus on our breath. And because you also put a number to it, you followed it and you did it. Right? So this was a very small kind of, an experience to tell you that this is how you can be mindful about your breathing itself. Right? So, I'm so happy someone says that you feel just by this quick 10 minutes thing, your stress went away. Can you see how it helped you kind of release that? So if you keep practicing this, and it just took us about 10 minutes, if you can still just practice just exactly what we've done every day in between the day, or maybe when you wake up in the morning, or even before you sleep at night, it will help you get such better sleep, right? Your quality of sleep will go up. When you're in the middle of a day and it's just too much of random thoughts, just do this. And when you come out of this exercise, you will find you'll be able to focus yourselves much better. Okay, so this was a small breathing exercise that we did, and taking you ahead to mindfulness for what you did in your breathing is now exactly what you need to do it when you do it for yourself. These are the things that I took you along to say that how were you curious about your breath? How was it in the nostrils? How did you feel in your body? And many times when we're just breathing on the chest, right? The air comes. We actually don't put a hand on the abdomen to see, unless you're doing the pranayam, to see whether your abdomen is out and in, right? So that also helps us understand that, right? And the qualities of breath. So because we gave it a count, you would see that it went very calmly. If you want, you can give a count of 6. If you want, you can give a count of 8 till you feel comfortable with doing that, right? And then, of course, the inhale and exhale experience in itself. All right. So this is a second type of a thing. Now that you know what we've practiced was what mindfulness in breathing was, the second part is to soften, soothe, and allow. So when you start this breathing, and when you're in that state after maybe practicing it and you know how to do it, then start getting some emotions out, some emotion that you're not comfortable dealing with. Maybe there's anger, maybe there's hurt, maybe there's resentment, and then feel that emotion while you're doing your breathing, right? So bringing mindfulness of emotion into body, it's called. So when you're doing the breathing, bring that emotion and allow it to be with that experience, and then see how do you feel about it. Correct? And then use the technique of soften, soothe, and allow. So just see that, yes, today I was feeling angry, suppose, say, for example. So when you're doing your mindfulness of breathing, sit in that and then bring that one particular thought that this happened with me today and I was very angry. Let yourself feel, how did I feel in that anger moment? Was I hurt and hence I was angry? Was I feeling disrespectful and what was the reason behind the anger? And then to soothe it that, okay, I will allow my body to pass that anger to go away, right? And then to say, what have I learned from this experience? And next time when I feel that, this is the way how I can easily handle that, and this is how I will do it, and then back out of this again. So you may want to work with various emotions in this technique, and you will find it helping you a lot on how to deal with them, which otherwise in our very stressful mind and that state of mind, we cannot handle so many emotions going ahead. Okay, so I hope that will also help you. I'm going to do one more mindful trigger for you, because I do understand that this will help, and like most of you have written that it really helped you kind of calm your mind down. So in a busy day when you have too many things going, I'm going to do right now called a grounding exercise with you. Okay, what it involves is getting your 5 sense organs, and we all have a sense organ of sight, of hearing, the audio, the sense of smell, the sense of touch. Skin is the largest organ in our body, right? And finally, the sense of taste. So how can you first get your brain to think on these? And that will also help you filter out on so many things that are happening. So it's like a reboot to your brain. So you do this grounding exercise and you come back refreshed, and then you concentrate again on what needs to be done. Okay. So for all of us, again, let's do this. It will take again 5 minutes again for all of us, but it will help you. It's a technique. Whenever you feel your brain is too full of too many things happening, do this grounding exercise. It will help you come out of that. It will give that necessary reboot to your brain, and you will start feeling better. So first of all, with your eyes, observe 5 objects around you, any 5 objects. Just observe them. Observe, when I'm saying observe them in the minutest detail. What is the color? What is the texture of the object I'm observing? How does it look to me? Is it small? Is it big? Any 5 objects around where you're sitting. Okay, just observe them. I'm giving you a minute to do that. Just observe any 5 objects. Once you've finished observing the 5 objects, take in your hand any 4 objects and feel them from your skin. Right? How does it touch? How does it feel to my skin? Is there a texture around it? Is there something that I can feel? How is it feeling? Is it giving me a sensation of cold or hot or maybe warm? Or how does it feel? Is it metallic? Is it plasticky to the touch? Just touch any 4. Maybe it's even a paper. It's okay. Go and touch a paper. Go and see how does a paper feel to you, right? And just touch it with your sense organs, paying attention to it. How does it feel to you? Okay? And once you've finished touching your 4 objects, maybe even if there's a book around you that you want to touch and feel and say, okay, how does it feel? How does it kind of, all right? Now, the third thing that you do that we already did in the practice before was closing your eyes and listening to 3 sounds. So you've already done that. You close your eyes and you listen to 3 sounds coming around you, okay? So you were already aware of that. The fourth part of it is bringing 2 things to your sense organ of smell and then get it to your nose and actually smell what smell is it giving out. Even if there's a sanitizer next to you, just bring any 2-3 objects and just smell them. Is there something that is giving you a very evident kind of a smell? We never do that. It's only some very intense smells that come to us. We never actually take things and bring it to our nose to say, how does it smell? Unless it's a flower or it's something, right? Sometimes you'll be surprised by how different things can give you such different fragrances or smells, right? And the last one here is to close your eyes and remember what was the last thing you ate or drank, and remember the taste on your tongue, in your taste buds. Can you still remember, even if it was water, did this water, what was the taste of it? Or what was tea? Or how was coffee? Or what was the biscuit that you ate, right? Try to remember that. The moment you do these kind of, look at 5 objects with your eyes, paying attention. So your sense organ of sight is getting activated. The sense organ of the second thing that I told you was to touch and feel. So your sense organ of touch is getting activated. The third was to listen to sound. So 5 things to see, 4 things to touch, 3 things to listen to, 2 things to smell, and 1 thing that you remember the taste on your tongue. Okay, this is a grounding exercise also that helps you to kind of, feel so much better and kind of gives you that reboot to your brain. And after doing this, go back to that email that you didn't know what to respond to, and you will be able to give a response better. Or when there were too many things happening, after this, only the thing that's important will pop up into your mind first, and you need to do that first. All right. Okay. Okay, there are questions that are coming on the chat. I will be taking all of them. I just have about 5 minutes more with this presentation, and I will be taking all your questions there. Okay, so thank you for your patience there. So this was the mindfulness trigger. So sometimes give post-its to yourself, or put an alarm on your kind of phone to say that in a day, have I done mindfulness today? So if you have 4 o'clock is generally a lull period where in the day there are not so many emails and you're okay, maybe just put an alarm to say at 4 p.m. I need to be mindful of whatever I'm doing. So even if I'm sitting and answering an email, I will be mindful of how does my desktop look? How does my room look? Right? What is in front of me? Try putting those triggers for yourself. And not only for what you're doing, you can try being mindful. And I've got this wonderful fruit for all of you to see. Like I have an orange in front of me, and I'm going to start eating mindfully. So I'm not just going to peel it and throw away and then remove I'm going to start by smelling it. How does it smell? Is it very different from any other orange smells? Or maybe when I peel it, and I'm going to say that, how does the sensation of me peeling the orange feel? So is it any different? Do I feel that, oh, when was the last time? I'm actually, while I'm doing this, I'm thinking, I've never peeled an orange in a very long time. So this sensation itself is different, right? So sometimes I'm just doing this mindfully to show you that how you can be mindful about doing it. So I'm going to peel this and I'm going to keep, and when I kind of remove a slice, one orange section again, right? And even when I peel it, I'm going to be aware of how this thing that, I don't know, what do you call this, right? Of orange, how does it feel to my hands? And when was the last time it's really beautiful. It's giving this nice, tangy kind of an orange smell to it. And so my whole experience of eating this orange is just enhanced because I've gotten my sense organ to kind of, to even smell the fruit before I eat it. And then when I taste it, maybe it will taste even much more better to me. Okay. Or if I have maybe a guava, if you're a guava person, to say that how does the fruit look to me, right? Is it small? Is it big? Is it ripe enough? Or do you like, not very ripe guavas? Do you like the raw ones better? So is that this? It is medium. What I'm trying to inculcate here is get your senses on to say that, yes, from now on, I'm going to be mindful. So even if I read a book, okay, and maybe if this is my book, I will start by not just saying, okay, what is it? Okay, what is this book? And how does it feel to me? And I always do that. When I read books, I always smell books. I don't know, I think a very old habit of mine. So even to smell and say, oh, this is how the book is, and what is it? How does it kind of, to put my, my sight. So I'm saying, how have they written it? How does it feel? Is there a different font here? Is there a different font here? To be more mindful. I've not even started reading what is written, but I'm more mindful on what I am going to read. Okay, so these are a few try it outs for all of you. Try mindful eating, try mindful walking, try mindful sitting. If you're not mindful how you're sitting, you will find that if you're sitting for too long, you will develop a backache. So even when I'm talking to you, I'm actually very erect because in my sense, from what I do, I know that if I'm not sitting in a very posture that is comfortable, soon I will start having some backache. So that will help you understand that, do I need cushions? Do I need, so be more mindful of that. Try mindful brushing. How does it feel to brush? For most of us, it's just a 5-minute activity. How does it feel going up and down when brushing your teeth in the morning? Try mindfully tidying up, or try mindfully cooking for that matter. What spices go first? How do you have the tadka coming out, and what whiffs come out of it? Try that so that your experiences all start becoming more enhanced. All right. So this was for trying it out. And then, of course, Buddha, who was our greatest teacher in a way, has said that the secret of health for the mind and body is not to mourn for the past or worry about the future or anticipate troubles, but to live in the present moment wisely and earnestly, right? So this present moment, even for us to, and sometimes I always say that even when we hear webinars, how many times we kind of, are on the mobile and we're just seeing some mindless social media or something, and we're actually not paying attention, right? So consciously bringing your attention and paying attention there. And with that was what I had to keep in this session for all of you before I take questions. With one-to-one help here, of course, we are the pioneers in the EAP service that we provide. We've been here for almost 2 decades now. We were founded in the year 2001. And our website has these resources. We have self-help library, assessments, workshops, and we offer our organizations work-life seminars like what we did on mindfulness today. This is our website, one-to-one-help.net. This is our interactive app where a lot of assessments can be done, a lot of articles can be read. And yes, this was all that I had from me today for all of you. So I will be taking questions now. For everybody who has anything to even maybe unmute yourself, that can be done. Or if you want to just type in and ask, you can absolutely do that as well. So I will be taking what is here already. How best mindfulness can help you in rising up spiritually, right? So I think if you have to, if you see your spiritual growth, so you have to be mindful in kind of understanding everything that is happening around you is for a lesson. And mindfulness will help you in that way to grow spiritually, is with all the spiritual growth that we learn, to be more patient, to be more humble, to be more caring about others, even to be more empathetic about others, right? So how do you do that? So you kind of take each experience that comes in front of you. So today, if somebody has come and I'm very angry that today my food had more salt, maybe, and I kind of shouted at the person who cooked food to say that why was there so much salt and I hate this. Now, if I'm not mindful that this was my kind of, that I was not empathetic, maybe somebody while the cook was cooking had too many things happening and was too stressed out and hence added too much. Now, if you are not mindful, every time something happens, you will end up to your own anger being that channel, your own. If you're more mindful of, why did this happen? Can I not get affected by this kind of a reaction? So you have learned from that situation that was a trigger for you, that was unhealthy, has become healthy. So more that you can make these situations healthier for you. Like I gave an example of anger. It could be any emotion. It could be hurt. It could be any negative emotions, to say a feeling of discontent in some way. If you start taking those emotions in each way, with each experience that teaches you, I think your spirituality in that way will rise, because eventually we, in a way, balance our spirituality to say that whatever kind of triggers us and that is negative in us needs to get positive for our spirituality to be positive. I think that can be as a way to increase your spirituality in the way of being mindful as well. All right. I hope I've been able to answer that. There's another question. Any tips to start a work without procrastinating? Yes, all of us do that. Procrastination, being lazy, not being able to do it. And what a lovely question here as well, because so many times all of us do that. Now, you have to understand, why do we procrastinate, first of all? So there are multiple reasons why we procrastinate. It can be because we are not interested in the work. It can be because it's not giving us any joy. Okay, it can be because we've done that work before, but our previous experience was not so good. And so we are carrying our emotional baggage of that previous experience with this current experience. Okay, and hence we're kind of avoiding to the most that we can kind of do it, right? Maybe sometimes even small things, like there are other situations that are hand in hand with this thing, and you're giving more importance to them, and hence this work is being procrastinated. So for you, what will help is to first understand what is your core reason for procrastinating and to be truthful about it. Completely transparent, right? Let's just be honest to ourselves. Yes, I know I hate doing that work, but it comes on my head every Monday, and hence I procrastinate till the time if I don't do it now, there'll be a repercussion, and hence I have to do. So if you start understanding that, yes, I'm procrastinating, like in this example, maybe because I don't like doing that job, but counter it with the act that if I don't like it, I rather do it right now and finish it off because it's an unpleasant experience, rather than drag on the unpleasant experience. Again, as I said, that anticipatory thing will come that, oh no, I have to do it. Rather than do it away, get away, and then say, okay, I've done the unpleasant experiences, and you will feel happier that you finished it at the right time. You will also not end up being guilty about the fact that you didn't do it on time. Okay, so I hope I have answered your this. That try to understand what is your core belief for being in that situation of not doing your work in the first place. And once you tackle that belief, you will be able to then gradually go ahead and do it for yourself. All right. All right. Is there anybody? Is there any other question, please?
The house is open for questions, and people may raise your hand and ask the question.
And don't worry, there are no right or wrong or weird or silly or even odd questions or something. Everything is fine. It's only from a perspective. So please don't have any hesitation. Even if you want to ask on something that's not related maybe to mindfulness in itself, but as somebody very kindly asked that, how can I not procrastinate, right? You can even ask something like that. So thank you. Okay, I have a question that's come in a private chat for me. So, how do you feel content in what you do? Yeah, a very, very profound question. How do you feel content, right? Because for most of us, our own opinions, our own thinking of what content is, or, comes from what, not only what we feel, but sometimes from what others around us in the environment feel, or what are thinking for us content. So what is content for me may differ very differently from what is content for somebody else, right? That's also the reason why sometimes we have these celebrities and so many people where we feel, oh, they have everything, there's name, fame, money, everything, yet why are they depressed, or yet why do they have anxiety, right? Because for us, maybe if we were in that place, we would have been the most happiest or something. So what happens here is, you have to make sure of what for you matters most, what is important for you in your life, and make it as a very clear kind of that's distinction, to say that this is what I in my core understand, these are my values, these are things that I feel important about, these are things that I will always hold higher than anything else. And if you make your own list of these are my priorities, these are my things that I need, and if you are very clear in that list for you, then if you're able to achieve that for yourself, your contentment should be there. Then it doesn't matter if somebody else's ABC's list is something else than your list. And they may come to you saying that, oh, I've done this so and so, and I feel so happy and content. Then you can't kind of compare to say that, oh, then is my list kind of falling short of what that is? And because that will then sow seeds of discontentment, to say that, oh, I don't think this is enough, I think that what that person has done, that should be done, and then I will feel content. So first of all, to understand, so this is all contentment, everything is more like a very introspective thing. It is for what you are individually. So make sure that you understand yourself better. What is it that you want from yourself? What is it that is for you the prime important thing? And once you achieve it, you are content with doing what it is. Okay, so again, instead of going out, I think turn inwards and learn your lessons and learn your everything from within you, from what you are. All right. Thank you. Thank you for that question. That was a really, really very good question. Very well brought up. Okay, there's another question that I have here. How do you tune out repetitive thoughts? Not necessarily negative, just repetitive, yes. What happens is, because we are so used to kind of hearing things, listening to things, having this kind of a self voice that we have, many times it becomes on an auto mode. It comes as a reflex. We are not even thinking. A lot of people who come to me saying that I always have this voice in my head that mean this. And yes, not necessarily negative. It's just repetitive. Because sometimes we give internally importance to things that for us are so important or so big, or if this doesn't happen, then this would happen, or just about yourself, why did this happen, or why did that situation occur? That is why, because we tend to think on it so much that it comes into that repetitive thing, because somewhere very unconsciously we've built up so much on it, or maybe it's an unresolved thing still, it's not been resolved for you. Maybe it's you're carrying that baggage from past, and because it's not resolved, it's still repetiting in front of you. Okay, so you may find that that repetition comes because you need to resolve it first. The moment it gets resolved, you will find that it won't come in it as a repetition. Okay, so it may be positive, but it may kind of come there sometimes to give you a push, sometimes for you to resolve it yourself as well. All right. Okay. Does being more mindful improve focus on work? Yes. If you are more mindful, then you will be more focused at work, because your mindfulness will then not be just with one thing. You, as practice, will start becoming mindful for everything. So even if you're sitting with your child, like for an example, and if you're kind of working on something and your child is like, mama, mama, or daddy, daddy, or something, and saying, and you're like, yeah, I'm listening. Now, because you're not mindful of giving time to your child and you're doing 10 things, you're not enjoying the experience. If you're sitting with that child and becoming a child itself, so even if it's a play-doh, or you're playing with something, or it's Lego or whatever, if you become a child and enjoy that experience of building or doing something, not only would you have bonded with the child, but you would have enjoyed that experience, enjoyed the feeling of being a child again and doing it. So when you start practicing with everything, it comes. Like even if I'm talking to you today, I'm so mindful with for all the questions that you are asking me. It's also helping me kind of emphasize on the important things that maybe I would have forgotten for myself as well. So I'm so mindful of giving these answers because it helps enhance my own understanding of the subject as well, right? So that is the extent to where mindfulness will help you focus on your work. Okay. Yes, so professional life, sorry, I'm just reading on what this is. Mm. Um, can you still listen to me?
Yes, ma'am, you're audible.
Okay, sorry. Am I visible as well? My screen for some reason, I don't know.
Yes,
Okay, I
yes, you're
can see.
visible.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you. So yes, so someone says that in a professional life, it is very challenging. Yes. That's why I said you need to take those pauses sometimes, you need to take those pauses to say that what is not working. So maybe assertiveness, like if we talk of assertiveness is not only in personal life, in professional life also sometimes we are not able to be assertive. Either we end up being submissive, which is one end of the spectrum, just keep taking everything and then kind of think that things are not working, or we get aggressive, which is the other end of the spectrum. We get angry, we kind of revolt, we say nobody listens to me, nobody understands me. But assertiveness in the communication is the middle space where you're neither submissive nor aggressive, but you are asserting your right in a polite way, but you are stating what the truthful fact of the matter is. Okay, so sometimes, yes, I do understand in professional life it can be challenging, but if you practice it enough, I think you will be able to understand how best to utilize it in your professional life, right? Someone says you start activities with a lot of enthusiasm, but at the end there is you weaken up on that. And how do you come up with this? Even start early, but the task will be completed. Okay, so when you are starting something new and when you have the enthusiasm, don't look for quantum leaps, like huge leaps. That today you're at day one, and then again it will. For a small example, and I'm just giving you an example just as a way of making you understand. If somebody says, "I want to start exercising," so it's not that if you wake up at 7 a.m. every day and suddenly from one day you will start waking up at 6 a.m. and be so, that from today I'm going to walk for 60 minutes and come back and be fit. Okay, because you may do it for 2, 3 days. Then again by the week you will say, no, it's too cold and the bed is, the blanket is so cozy and you don't want to do it. So what we start with people like that, we tell them the first day, just remove your shoes from the cabinet and keep out. That's all. Okay, so remove your shoes, keep it out from the cabinet. Second day is remove your socks. Maybe wear your shoes and socks on the third day. Fourth day, maybe go for a stroll of 5 or 10 minutes and come back. Okay, maybe the next day, then start increasing it in small micro steps, but positively every day, one step ahead more than the previous day. If you can sustain it for those small micro steps as you keep going ahead, you will find that slowly you will find yourself so much farther than the day you started. And the chances of you going back to that smaller step is much more, but you won't go back to the first step where you started. So you won't give up easily. You won't kind of do that. Hope I've made sense with this small example that I told you here, sir. Okay, there are two questions. Sorry, to panelists. Let me see if I can see that, please.
There's one question by Abhishek Raut.
Okay. Sorry, for some reason, I think I can see it now. 1 minute. Yes. I'm so sorry. I missed that. Thank you for bringing my attention here. Okay. Of course, of course. I'm so happy to read, Abhishek, that you are doing your MBA in urban management and governance. More power to you, wonderful subject that you've chosen. And I do understand you are asking that how do you develop a psychological resilience amidst this pandemic to sit across the digital platform and rejuvenate ourselves. I know. And not only you, who is doing this wonderful course, it even begins from little kids right now who are doing online schooling. So can you imagine we very wonderfully switched on to a digital platform. We wonderfully kind of, got into, and now we also kind of reaching a fatigue. People are calling it something called a pandemic fatigue, where we are all fatigued out with digital media itself, with so many things, where our focus, and as you rightly say, you may be attending classes which are happening on the digital platform, or you may be doing so many things, and somewhere you find your focus not coming ahead. Somewhere you find that, because we have so many uncertainties and anxieties. What if when the course ends, what will happen here? What will happen there, right? So when you say how do you develop your psychological resilience, the bounce back always comes from our reserves. Okay, so what you have to do along with all your professional things that you're also doing is you need to definitely get your boundaries up to also what are you doing for your self healing. Every day you need to give an hour to yourself for your own me time. Okay, so these are things that will help us bounce back. So find your own support system, be it friends who know you from your days, who are there, whom you can connect up over a call and feel good, maybe family, maybe cousins, maybe people who are your positive people. Connecting with them helps you get your psychological resilience up. Doing a lot of self healing and doing things that you enjoy as a hobby, even if it means you've had a stressful day, there were classes back to back, or there were project that you're working on, but maybe at the end of the day, if you can see a Netflix comic stan or something and have your haha and feel relaxed about it, or maybe put on some light music, whatever that works for you, find out what it is. Maybe gardening as a hobby, if that is what is working for you, if you even devote enough time that is required for that, it will help you build your resilience. Then the next day, even if there's a project deadline and it means so much to come from you, because you're not strained out, stretched out, fatigued out, mentally, physically, emotionally, you will be able to come back and give yourself to that. Okay, so it's not just about work all the time. It's not just, make sure that you're feeding your soul as well. Make sure you're giving your inputs to also your psychological well-being as well. Okay, that is what will help your inner resilience come up as well. Okay, and yes, there was one more to all panelists, so many thoughts at a time. Yes, all of us, all the time. And yet we are such social beings that we always end up thinking so much. Sometimes what helps is when you have too many thoughts in a mind is to have something called a thought journal. Because we're always thinking about so many. It helps us to write down things. If you have 10, 15 thoughts coming, just pen them down. Write it with a pen on paper. If you feel comfortable, write it on your notepad, whatever, on your mobile or a desktop or wherever, laptop. But just when you write it down, you kind of vent out to those thoughts. And sometimes it helps you channelize, understand which of these thoughts is important for me to focus on right now. Which of these thoughts I can come back, because right now they are there in this whole pool of thoughts, but it is not important for me to tackle them. So you can do like a stress audit of your thoughts. So you may have so many thoughts. If you are able to do a stress audit to say which thought I need to pay attention to right now, and the others can be in a wait queue, because if these 3 thoughts are taken care of, then I will feel much better and in a much happier situation versus the other. So if you can do that, I think it will really help you. Okay.
I think, ma'am, we can take the remaining questions on the chat and probably we can answer them later.
Okay, sure. We'll do it.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for such a wonderful session. It was indeed important we've learned that it is indeed important to be living in the present rather than being worried about past or the future. And the exercises done today were absolutely easy and absolutely doable anywhere, anytime. I'm certain we all will be practicing mindfulness and will be benefiting out of it. Thank you so much, ma'am, for such an amazing session.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Prathama. Thank you, everybody, for attending. Stay safe, stay happy. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, with this, we come to the end of today's deliberations. You may connect with us through social media by following our Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Instagram handles. Please use hashtag GRIHA for all and hashtag 12GS while tweeting. Tomorrow, we begin the day with awards and valedictory session at 10:30 a.m. sharp. Thank you.